All right, hello, and welcome back to my oil painting studio and my Access Gallery 99 pieces show that is due in 2 weeks at the gallery and needs to be dry. And also, if you're new to my channel, thanks for stopping by, appreciate it. So I've been looking at this for a couple hours now this morning. Because I cannot screw around. Every brushstroke needs to count now since I'm down to my deadline. And I've gotten some feedback from some people. So we're going to work on two things. I'm pretty happy with how this green is. Overall, I kind of like the color palette. It looks like a bouquet to me at the colors. But I really like these dark shadows back here, and I want to blend some of these green tangles, I'm calling them, into these darker areas. And simultaneously, by working on the background, I can clean up the edges of the green. And by making sharp contrasts, make them look like they're closer, and by blending and softening and the edges with the background, make them look like they're farther away. So these are the goals today. So I'm back to, or staying with tiny brushes at this point. Again, I can't really afford to just play around and have to do multiple coats. So what I'm going to do, I've been trying to decide. I want to get this dark color in here, which was Alizarin Crimson, and I want to say ultramarine violet. I think it's kind of a bluish purple. But I think I'm going to start with the Alizarin Crimson. There's a few places that I want to kind of hit, I guess. So we'll start there and kind of also, I guess, in some ways brighten up the background a bit. But this is very, very careful finishing work at this point. Now, where I went over several sessions ago, there's a little bit of white that smeared around, and so that's going to pick up this Alizarin Crimson really nicely. So my goal today is to really, really have this close to done. Maybe some quick touch-ups before I get into gold leafing. The gold leaf is a pretty quick process, but I may want to paint around it a little too. So I have to get some paint on this today so it can dry, and probably in 2 days again I'll be back at it. But basically I have a week because it needs to cure. I kind of wanted to varnish it. We'll see if I have time for that. I hope I do. This is the first painting I've ever recorded from beginning to end, and I have the YouTube channel because I want to share it with people, but I'm finding that, well, one, I really am enjoying video, which makes sense because I'm a photographer, but this is really valuable. When I edit the video, I end up rewatching it pretty closely, frame by frame, and so I get like a retrospective on a painting session, and I'm finding it really, really valuable. So, yay. Yeah, I like that. The background is kind of popping. Okay, where else did I? There were a couple spots I wanted to hit, and I don't want to get carried away with the dark purple and lose them. So, very strategic painting. And then we'll come back in and do some darker shading in these dark areas, really darken them down, give that contrast, which makes it so yummy. Visual candy. And again, I'm using a bit of glaze just so this dries, helps me out with the drying. I'm using a number 4 filbert, which I can use again the side or the wider or the skinnier part of it, depending on what I need in here. We have tree trimmers in the neighborhood today and tomorrow, and I'm really hoping the noise doesn't show up on video. I'm excited though because they're trimming up around my plants so I get a little more sunlight. Sometimes when you're painting, and again, I think this just comes with experience, knowing, imagining, visualizing what's coming next. And I've been leaving these spots and they've been bugging me because to me, it looks unfinished. Not sure that's true for everyone, but I wanted to get this cleaned up, help it look like we're getting close to done. Ooh, it vibrates. I love it. Whew. Been living with this painting for months now, but the other reason to get it done is so I can actually look at it finished before I have to deliver it, so I get a chance to enjoy it and analyze it, of course. This is also an opportunity for me to define the background a bit more too, in relationship to this green foreground now. So I've been defining the background a bit here too, in relationship to the foreground, the green. There's a concept in visual art about negative space, which is the space in between the objects, or design elements. I mean, if you want to get really technical about it. I guess that's what I'm referring to a lot of the times, if you're trained in the arts and know these terms. To me, it's the gaps in between things that always fascinate me as an autistic person. ADHD, neurodivergent, we'll say, broadly speaking. But it's both intellectual and visual, which is why I'm here doing this. Oh yeah, wow, that's really rich. Defining very, very tiny features back here. This is pretty much, we're down to the final design. And at this point, it's just picking it out, I guess I would call it. Again, a very relational process, I think. Me responding to the painting. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, this is a very tiny, tiny painting. What I try to do is make it interesting from different distances, viewing distances. So I like to put in at the end and kind of build up as I go really tiny, tiny little details that are a bit of a treat if you get up really close and look at it. I'm using the brush on its edge to touch up these tiny, tiny little details. And make new ones, really. So I'm still making the composition as I go. And again, this is my way of painting. It's not by any means the correct way to do it. But at this point in my life, after almost 50 years of oil painting, and finding out about my neurodivergence, this is what works for me currently. It will probably change again sometime in the future. So if you're curious about oil painting, there's a lot of different things to do. I always suggest start with the basics. Definitely have to learn color theory if you're going to paint, which I love. It's fascinating. There's some science to it, a lot of psychology. Though it's important to know that color is we'll call it psychology, though psychology is a Western idea. What the point I'm trying to make is there's cultural interpretations are different around different colors. So, for example, in the United States, black is usually considered a color for death. You wear black to a funeral. In other cultures, I'm thinking of places in Africa, it's white, the color of bones. So it's if you start looking into a color theory from how we perceive it is really fascinating, but the interpretation culturally is going to be different depending on which culture you're looking at. Oh, it feels so good to clean this up. This has been bugging me. I'm still building up the design and the textures. There's no real point in going in and getting too picky about it because it just gets covered up. It's just at the end you have to go in and touch things up, or I do. It's always those last fine details. All right, I think we're getting to a decent stopping point here in a minute. I'll take a break and look at this. And then thinking I'm going to come back in and do with a blending brush and do just a little bit of blending. Make sure I got this Alizarin Crimson where I want it. And then again, the plan is to come back to this deep shadow work. But I'm just going around making sure I got all this touch-up done that I want to get. Like I want to soften this up here. Let's see. Still catching a lot of these little brush strokes. Kind of like that. I'm going to be darkening all this, so not get too picky there. I've left some of them. I kind of like it, but just not everywhere. It looks sloppy. Okay, I think we're going to leave it there for right now. And I'm going to take a break, start a new video. So watch for the next video on blending and bringing in this dark. That'll be the next step, the next video. So as always, thank you so much for watching, spending time with me. I really enjoy sharing this. And yeah, I will see you in a bit.